Morning, friends. I thought I would come on and show you how I organize my Project Life journaling cards and some of my smaller supplies in my, it's not really a Raskog, it's the Michael's version of a Raskog. I bought this before we had an IKEA in our area, so I am going to pause it here and I'm going to take the journaling cards up to my desk where the lighting is a little bit better, and I'll be right back. If you are someone who does a lot of crafting and you've got a lot of little things that you need to organize, whether it's paper or paint or any other sort of like small little things, these little bins from Michael's are fantastic. I have them in the white and the green, and they house a good amount of little things. And I like that they're small enough that if you wanted to pull them out, they don't take a lot of space on your desk. I think these come in a package of 3 for the small ones, and I think 2 for the big ones. So this would be one of the bigger ones. And as you can see, this is also what is holding my 4x6 journaling cards. And the way I organize my journaling cards is I kind of go by category, and I've seen all kinds of people use different categories. These are the ones that work for me. As you can see, they're not always in order, but basically there's a section for the ones that I make myself. There's a section that's kind of grid paper and things with lines for journaling. These I just called texture. They're just basically plain cardstock. And then I've got one here I called it vintage, because they have a little bit of an older, distressed look to them. And as you can see, I've changed my system, so I'm going by the tabs that are on the top. This next section is quotes, and apparently also little calendar cards. I don't actually have a lot of big quote cards in there. And then this one is sets. So the ones that are either like a 12 by 12 cut apart sheet, or I bought them and I want to keep them together. If I have sets that don't fit in here, what I tend to do, sorry, things are driving me crazy. There we go. What I tend to do is grab a good, trusty Ziploc bag, and this has got like a little bit of ephemera in it, and some 4x6 cards and some 3x4, and then those I tuck back here. And then the same is true of this one. And these are just sandwich bags. They're nothing fancy. They're not, I think they're probably even dollar store bags. I don't like spending a lot of money on Ziploc bags because I just think it's crazy. So these are just the little sets that I have. And I've got a few. And I mean, if the cards don't fit, I put them vertical, like the 4x6 cards. I just put them vertical if they don't fit sideways. This is a set that I think I got from Studio Calico, and it's basically all about going to Disney. I've never been to Disney. I'm saving this for the day that I do go. Hopefully it comes. These were some DIY cards, so I guess technically those should go in here. So yeah, that is my 4x6. And then what I do with this is I put this right on the top of my Raskog, so it's like the first tier. So I'm just going to do that right now. And I'll take a picture of it when it's all kind of reassembled so you can get an idea of how much space there is. So these are more of those little Michael's bins. And as you can see, some of them I've labeled, some of them I haven't. These are just little sentiment strips, so I use them for all kinds of things. And then here is where I keep my 3x4 journaling cards. And again, similar sort of organizational system to my 4x6. So there's DIY somewhere in here, and then sets. So I just clip these together with a fancy office clip. There's really not a lot of ingenuity in this system. So that's kind of where those live. And then this goes on the top shelf of the tray of the Raskog as well. And now we're getting into probably the ones that I use the most. And some of these that do not belong. So these would be either things that I've made, or they're a little bit more textured in some way. Some of them are not quite done. Like you can see, I make a bunch and then they just sit here. It's really quite a sin, but and then just stamped. I did these when I was on my keto weight loss journey. Never made it to this benchmark, or this one, or this one. So they're still in here. These were printables. I think these I made with a digital stamp. Pretty sure. So, I mean, technically these could go in sets, but they're here. And there's more printable ones. So true. More printed. This is kind of like just the book collection one that I made. There's, these were made using Kelly stamps, digital stamps for my project Life. And I think I cut that on my Cricut. So it's just a real assortment of stuff in here. I have 2 doggies, so I thought that was very appropriate. And then the rest is, again, organized in a very similar way to my 4x6 cards. And then all of this goes on the top shelf of my Raskog. So I will put these back and I'll take a picture and I'll be right back. These are the things that go on tier 2 of my Raskog tray or cart. Just some double-sided adhesive. I used to subscribe to Studio Calico. No, I bought from Studio Calico. I didn't subscribe to them. And so these pouches were something that they always sent some of the smaller supplies in. And so I've kept them and I reuse them when I'm organizing my supplies now. So I've got a couple of these. It's kind of a DIY kit that I made. And Citrus Twist Kits also sent their kits in these little pouches. I've seen these on Amazon. They're really not expensive. They come in a whole bunch of different sizes. If you're looking for a way to organize your papers and things, this is a great option if you want something a little bit more high-tech than Ziploc bags. And they're reusable, so bonus. So these all go on tier 2 of my tray, or my cart. I keep calling it a tray, it's a cart. And then I'm also using these little bins again from Michaels for my 6x6, 6x8 papers. And these were the papers that don't really belong in any one particular place. These I actually bought at the dollar store. And I've kind of weeded through the ones that I don't think I'm going to use. So I kept the ones that I thought, I could probably make those work. But by the end of the year, if there's some left in here that I haven't used, I think I'll just probably donate them. And then because these bins are a good size, you can see they'll hold a 6x8 pad. 6x8 stamp sets usually fit in here as well. So these were gifted to me. These are just vellum from the dollar store, vellum print papers that a crafty friend sent me. And then this goes on the cart. And the good thing about the cart is when you're standing things up in it when they're tippy like this, the two different bars on either side of the Raskog cart actually hold things vertical, so it's a bonus. And then this is kind of my specialty paper bin, so you can see I've got some glitter cardstock. I don't remember where I found this. Probably the dollar store. Very pretty. There's a little bit of vellum in here. I should probably get reorganized. And then these are the 6x6 paper pads that I've cut apart. And there's scraps in here, but I keep the actual pad cover just so I know what collection it is, should I ever need to reference it again. Same sort of idea. All the little pieces for a project are on the back. I could actually probably reorganize these in my little zipper pouches. So scraps again. So when I've got scraps that all belong to a kit, or when it gives me an idea for a project, I tend to put them together. I don't really have any one system that works all through my craft room. I tend to mix and match systems. So this is the second row of my Raskog. Oh, these should go with the vellum. All right, I'm going to go get the things that go on the bottom, and I'll be right back. These are the things that are on the bottom of my Raskog card. So this is kind of the overflow bin, for lack of a better term. Back when I used to do swaps with some of the girls in one of our little Facebook groups that we started, I would do like embellishment bags, and so there's some bag toppers in here. There's just a random assortment of stuff. So this goes on the bottom tier of the cart. Some little 3D flowers. I don't tend to use these in my everyday scrapbooking and in my project life because they just make things too thick. But they're pretty, and I kept some of my favorites. So I thought I would just put those on the bottom. And then this is all of the pouches for a year's worth of a subscription that I did to the Ali Edwards Stories by the Month kits. And as you can see, she also sends her kits in these little pouches. Hers are really pretty because they have polka dots. She actually doesn't do this kind of packaging anymore. It was probably not cost effective, so she tends to send her kits in like a cardboard packaging now. So you just recycle them. But as you can see, you just keep things in these little pouches. They're quite a bit smaller than the Citrus Twist and Studio Calico pouches. So there's the Ali Edwards, and there's the Studio Calico behind it. And then the Citrus Twist pouches, quite a bit bigger. They basically made this to fit an entire 6x8 pad of paper, and then some of the goodies that went with it. So if I can find something like this on Amazon, I'll see if I can link it in the description box below. But this is actually held. I may actually take these out so you can see what's holding them vertical. This was something that I bought from Amazon. It's actually a nail polish tray, and as you can see, I don't use nail polish. I don't have the patience for it, but it's a stared tray, and so I use this for a lot of things actually. I have 3 of them on my desk in front of me that I'm looking at, and this one. And the reason I originally bought these was to store my distress oxides. And I'll link that video up here. I've since repurposed them. I have a new way that I organize my distress oxides now. And then what I do with these is I stack them basically 3 to a row, and there are 4 rows, so 12 months. As you can see, it's not a great fit, but my hope is to use what's in these kits, and then I'll use this tray in a totally different way in the future. So this is on the bottom row of my Raskog cart. So I'm going to take some pictures, and that's pretty much it. The plan is to show you some of my other paper organization systems as I move around my craft room and kind of reorganize and move some things around. But this basically is what I use the most. The Raskog cart is probably one of the most used storage items in my room, and it just sits next to me when I'm doing my work. You can move it all around the room. My only thing with my Raskog cart is I would like to be able to roll it underneath my desk, but at the moment my desk isn't high enough. I'm hoping that changes in the next few months, but we'll see how that goes. And yeah, stay tuned for my, I'm going to call it my closet of shame video. Yeah, that closet is a mess, and you'll get to appreciate it and probably feel better about yourself in the next video. So that's it for me today, folks. Thanks for coming to hang out with me, and I will see you again next video. Bye for now.